all the students.
Yeah.
So not
Check.
at all a problem. Okay, fine. So
Please.
let's go ahead with the demo. So in the introduction part, so I'll be just telling you like the different types of ERPs and HRMS model and all. So people who already know, like who are already working on technical side or maybe on a functional on some other modules or all on HRMS, just you people might feel silly like different types of ERPs and all, but this particular course content is designed for even for freshers. That means people who come from the background of BTech background, maybe they're mechanical engineering or something, they don't know nothing about ERP, but still I have so many students who started who went to US or maybe Qatar, and then they took the course and they adapted this profession as Oracle HRMS consultants. Okay, so seeking all people in different objectives and everything, we have taken these particular concepts here. So initially, so I'm getting some background noise. So Sanallah Khan, sir, can you go into mute? Okay, fine. So introduction of different types of ERPs, and also we have different ERPs, right? Oracle, SAP. So even we have cloud computing right now. So again, that we have cloud ERPs like Workday, Fusion, and we have something like SAP SuccessFactors. So all these are the cloud ERP. So we'll also discuss like what's going on cloud ERP. So what are the different types and what Oracle is giving in Fusion as well. So that will be like an introduction, like just like a warm up kind of a thing. Okay, and then we'll go to the second point. Like basically I'll start like type of ERPs, and again in Oracle ERP, what are the main modules we have, like finance, SCM, project accounting, manufacturing, CRM and all. And then under again Oracle HR, Oracle EBS HRMS module, what are the sub modules we have and the preference of each and any module. Like for example, you take payroll, the employee salary management is taken care of. Time and labor, the employee attendances is taken care. If it is like learning management, the employee trainings part is taken care. So what is the preference of each and every module, we will discuss. And the next thing will be reporting structure. So reporting structure is kind of like how many hierarchies are existing in Oracle HR. Like we have supervisor hierarchy, we have position hierarchy, we have organization hierarchy. So in which case these hierarchies are generally used. So all those kinds of things will be taken care in this particular module. Okay, sorry, in this particular concept. And then localization concept. So localization concept is nothing but it is an country specific specifications. Like for example, if any client from US comes to you, and so suppose like you're a functional consultant, so US client comes to you, so what are all the questions that you need to ask them, like to just implement Oracle HRMS for US localization. So you'll also discuss about the taxes, the city, the county, okay, those taxes and all. And then you'll ask like what are the legal entities, so legal employer, okay, statutory information. So all those things you need to track each and everything. So that is like country specific data is termed something like your localization. In India we have something like for example, I have a client from India. So from India, I'll ask him like, what is the concept of gratuity? How they are paying the gratuity to employees? So what is the concept of PF in India? Okay, so all these things, whether they are capturing the PAN number of all the employees, and if a company is going to pay taxes to the government, the PAN number, the TAN number, so all these are captured or not. So these are all something like your localization, like country specific data. So how that localization varies and where exactly we are going to use this localization concept in our implementation, we are going to see that. And then the next point is multi-language concept. So multi-language means like again for example, I'm doing an implementation for Saudi client. Okay, now the Saudi clients come to me because by default when my DBS set up an instance, by default the language is English. Okay, the Oracle supported languages, Oracle supports different languages, but by default language is English. Now the Saudi client comes to me and he says that see Kumar, so I don't want to go with this English language. I want the last name or the first name or job position name. All those should be displaying in Saudi internal name. Okay, Arabic language. So then how we are going to translate those things, how the language concepts comes into picture will be taken care in this particular point. Okay, And then invest different versions in Oracle HRMS, like what is the current version in release 12, so what is the clicked version, so previous to release 12 what was the version, whether right now it is supported by the Oracle or not. So all these things we will have just a chat on it. Okay. And then international HR setup, this international HR setup is something like in reverse of your localization. Okay, because whenever we do an implementation to certain country clients and all, so Oracle already gives a seeded patches, like Oracle gives some seeded data, okay, standard data to us. By installing those seeded patches we get some localized something like, for example, if you go to India, those statutory rules and your income tax fast formulas, automatically Oracle writes that and gives to you as terms of your patches. So that is means you're getting localized values into your implementation while you're installing those patches. But suppose like there is a small country called Congo, for which Oracle doesn't support any localization. Okay, no seeded patches, nothing is there with Oracle, because Oracle sees like from Congo they are not getting bigger clients, or maybe normal clients also they are not getting, and they are not generating any revenue from that particular country. So they don't show much interest to invest in that country's business and all. So they don't create any standard rules or policies or statutory information for Congo. But in case if any client from Congo comes and requests Oracle, Oracle should never deny, because we are consultants and we should be able to provide solutions to anyone who approaches us. Okay, in that case what Oracle said is they have just have a concept like international HR setup, something like a global setup, where we are going to run certain programs, and then we see that a particular layer of localization is set up for a particular country, which is predefined. Oracle doesn't provide any localization to it. We see that a layer of localization is done to it, and we can start doing the implementation for that particular country, where at a particular level we can manage this data. And always if we have to run implement payroll module, we see that at least the payroll is running for all the employees in Congo and they are getting a payment. Oracle doesn't promise that it's going to give very complex formulas. If there is any complex calculations, the consultant who is doing the work with Congo client should take care of it, because no customized or no custom fast formulas are supported or taken care by Oracle. It only gives a layer of localization. But if the client from Congo wants to go in depth of implementation, then it is all about their ability and the consultant's ability. How much, if they are good consultants, they can do in-depth calculations or capture that information. But Oracle sees that okay, a layer of localization is provided and an implementation goes smoothly for Congo client. Okay, so this is like your international or global HR setup. Okay, so any questions from introduction on Oracle HRMS in this particular section, whatever we have just discussed? If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. If not, we'll go to the next section. Okay, so any questions from anybody? Any questions? Okay, I don't think so. People are very silent here. Fine. So hoping that you people have understood the first section. So let's go back to the second section. So system administrator and application developer activities. So I think most of the people are working on Oracle applications or Oracle EBS, either in a technical, techno-functional or functional side. So they know most of this particular part. Okay, but still thinking that the people are fresh here. So I can give an introduction like a function is nothing but a form. So how a form can be used in Oracle applications. Okay, and then again menu is something like your collection of forms. Okay, sorry. And then concurrent programs and executables. A program is nothing but it might be a process or it can be a report. Okay, if you're creating any custom report, again you can register that as a concurrent program through executable, and then you can push that particular program in a request group, and you can push that request group to a responsibility, seeking that any person who holds this particular responsibility should be able to run a particular report or a process. Okay, and then as I said, request group is nothing but again collection of your concurrent programs. So responsibilities, so what are the forms that a particular user have to access. Okay, Security profile. So we will also discuss about the security profiles at system administrator. Something like we have different levels like site level, application level, responsibility level, user level. Okay, so these are the standard things, and we also have something like organization or security, so which are not used, and at level they are used at database administrator level also. But we will also consider four major levels like site, application, responsibility, and user. So how these accesses get deferred, and how we can see an already standard profile options given by Oracle, how can we create our own profile options. So these things we will also see in something like security profiles. Okay, and then users, we know like we are going to create a user and assign an employee to that user, so that, and responsibilities to that user, so that we can say, okay, this employee is able to access these responsibilities, or this employee have an access to these particular forms in a particular responsibilities. Okay, so messages, any custom or seeded messages, how to define messages and all, we'll see. And then flex fields, so this is one of the major point that we are going to discuss in this particular section, because flex fields are something like in base for your business group setup, which we'll be doing in core HR module. And again we have something like DFFs, descriptive flex fields, and again under DFF we have again different kinds of flex fields. Okay, so like additional flex field, extra information flex field, further information flex field. So what are the differences between these three descriptive flex fields, why, in which case or in which scenario we use these things, we'll be discussing those. Okay, and then value sets, values and lookups, something like if you want to provide a list of values to a particular field, suppose like the user says that I don't want to enter manually in a particular field, I have to have a provision of a button where I want to click on a button of that particular field, and then it has to display certain values where I can choose or pick a value into my particular field. So that is nothing but lookups and value sets. So the concepts are different, but we will see each and everything, like how to create a value set and how to provide values in that particular value set. Again we'll see what are the standard lookups we have, how to give the values in it, what are the access levels in lookups, and also each and everything will be created with an example and will be discussed with a scenario, like based on experience of my previous experience talking to the clients, and how to gather the requirement, in which cases we are going to do this. So all these things will be explained in terms of a real-time scenarios. Okay, so this is all about your system administrator and application developer activities. Okay, any questions?
No, please go ahead, please.
Sure, fine.
Hello.
Yep.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ravi.
sir, can you repeat the flex fields?
Okay, flex field is something like which is a standard way given by the Oracle. So we have two flex fields. We have descriptive flex field. We have key flex fields. Okay, so key flex fields are already the structure, like the titles, the the boundary of that particular key flex fields are given by the Oracle. So, and we have to define our own segments in a particular structure. Okay, so that means key flex fields are generally used to manage very vital information and very important information kind of a thing, and descriptive flex fields is where you try to add any alternative information or some additional information. Okay, so that kind of a part. So how to distinguish between these two, and what are the seeded structures? So that means what are the predefined key flex fields given by Oracle related to HRMS that we are going to list down, and we will go to each and every key flex field and explain that. And again in descriptive flex field we have three flex fields, as I told you. One is your additional flex field, one is your extra information, and one is your further information. So why Oracle has given three descriptive flex fields, and what is the preference of each and every flex field, and in which scenario we need to configure these flex fields. So because there might be some reason why Oracle has given three different types, because if it is only one different type, then we would have followed that only one, but why three? So that in which scenario we will do it, we will discuss. Okay, once we start our classes.
And one more thing, Kumar, can you please tell me what are the lookups and why we use lookups in our Oracle implementation?
See, lookups is something like there are some standard lookups given by Oracle. Okay, generally a lookup is something like to a field, a particular field is attached with a list of values. Okay, so that means it also consists of a list of values where certain values will be in that particular bucket, and if you click on that particular field, at the end of the field there will be a small button kind of a thing. If you click on it, you can see the values. But why lookups are given? Because the same thing we'll also see it at value sets. But what is the major difference between lookups and the value sets is, in lookups Oracle has given standard values, and then you can divide that lookups based on the country wise. Okay, for example, in the employee form I have a field called title. Okay, something title is Mr., Mrs., Miss, Doctor. So all these are a kind of a title. Okay, and so now Oracle will say that, see boss, now for Saudi Arabia, in Saudi Arabia there is a specific title called His Highness. Okay, they will call the kings or that level people as His Highness Abdul Khatir, His Highness Abdul Ahmed, something like that with the name. Okay, so now the requirement is like says that this particular His Highness title should be displayed only to Saudi Arabia localization, not to any other localization. Because once you are going to add that lookup value in that particular title, it will be common to all the localizations. That means for all the countries. But if I want to only display Saudi Arabia level, then I have to do one particular setup. So we can access this, or we can just provide say that His Highness will be only confined to a particular country and it should not be displayed to in any other countries. So that particular access or restriction we can create at lookups level. Okay, for that purpose we have standard lookups and we can customize the lookups the way we want. Okay,
Fine, fine, fine.
ठीक है. Fine, hoping that you people are fine with this both the sections. Now we are actually whatever we have spoke just now till now, maybe for 15 minutes, this is just with the introduction we are with. Okay, we haven't started Oracle HRMS. So now we are about to go into Oracle HRMS side. Okay, and then I will start with core HR. So let's be interactive. So can anybody explain me so what is the preference of core HR module in Oracle HRMS? Anybody?
Yeah, Kumar, the specification of the core HR is we can creation of the employees and then their addresses, contacts, and then main is the legal information of the business group.
Okay.
So from the big, we can capture the business group information, employees information.
Yeah, that is
as
fine.
well.
Actually, so just give me a layer of definition. So we can do all these things, like I can capture organizations, job positions. Okay, that's fine. But
Yeah.
there is exactly a good preference for this particular module. What is that? Maybe one line definition, or what is that overall view on this core HR? Because this is considered as a very important module.
Yeah, it's a complete gives this module gives a complete information of the all the employees and all the details of the employees.
Okay, fine. Any other wants to add anything else here? We have one new joinee, Adil. Okay, fine. So let me add something here. So fine. So whatever Kranti has said, it's fine. That is good. So the main preference of your core HR module is this is considered something like an heart of HRMS. And this is said like it's an heart of HRMS, this module. Why it is called as an heart of HRMS, why it is considered as very important module? Because in HRMS, as Kranti said, that we will define something like a business group. Okay, and if people don't know, I'll explain what is a business group. Business group is considered as an topmost operating organization unit. That means it will be always at the topmost. Okay, and then if you people have heard something about multi-org structure. Okay, anybody heard about multi-org structure, or any idea? So anyways, multi-org structure is something like it is an hierarchy defined by Oracle Corporation, where it says multi-org structure is something like for any implementation, okay, which involves finance or supply chain or HR or manufacturing, any implementation, you have to definitely follow this multi-org structure. Okay, multi-org structure is there are 5 levels defined by Oracle, and says that first level is business group definition, second level is set of books, third level is legal entity, fourth is inventory org, and fifth is sub inventory org. Okay, so these are the 5 levels. That means if you want to define only implement finance module for a particular client, you don't want to implement anything else. But still in that case also you have to define a business group. Okay, that means you have to go and create one responsibility of HRMS, and in that HRMS you have to go to the organization and you have to create a business group. And before creating a business group, there are some mandatory steps that we need to do, that we have to fulfill all the steps and come back and define business group. Then only you can go and define certain set of books or legal entities or operating units or a ledger, anything you can do it finance only after creating a business group. So that means to do an finance implementation, your HR is dependent on this. Okay, and the other important logics that are involved in core HR is you do a complete employee management, where this complete employee management is involved in across all other main modules. You go to manufacturing, you go to project accounting, you go to any module, employee should be there, because we will implement any module and that module or that role should be assigned to some user to do that transactions. For example, in finance, someone has to do accounting, right? Some people will be there and finance department will be there, they have to do accounting. So in order to do accounting, first we need to create an employee in the system and then create a responsibility, then create a user, assign the employee with that particular user and assign this responsibility to that user, and then we'll just drop an email to that user saying that this is your URL, this is your login credentials. So that means definitely here the employee is required. So that is again one more dependent. Okay, and the other dependents are, in order to have a position hierarchy, because we generally use position hierarchy in finance module, supply chain management, manufacturing, anything, but where you are creating positions, again that will be in HRMS. Okay, so this core HR will be dependent on all modules. At the same time, this core HR is also dependent on sub modules of HRMS like payroll, time and labor, absence management, and I-recruitment. So all these things, again core HR is dependent. So that is the one definition where core HR is dependent across the main modules and across the sub modules of HRMS as well. Okay, and what we are going to discuss in core HR is, we are going to discuss something like your grade definitions, your jobs, your positions, your employee management. So if you have to create any security profiles, that thing, so your day tracking, all this will be defined, and we'll learn each and everything in our core HR module. Okay, and one question to you people, do you know any like a difference between a job and a position? Anybody? Because without this question there will not be an interview. Okay, any how can you define like job, position?
Yeah, actually, the position is it's a specific roles to the job,
Okay.
and the job it would be a, like kind of thing. It's like, for example, job is a manager, and then position would be like, admin manager, finance manager, procurement manager,
Okay,
such kind of things.
right, that
So
is
job is
exactly, yeah,
almost a position.
right. So exactly right. So your job is something like a generic, which can be a manager, a consultant, a CEO, a CIO, a CTO, a director. So all these are your jobs, and position will be very specific. So the position is something like your department plus your job is equal to your position. So it can be finance manager, it can be sales consultant, it can be like HR director, so something like this. So how your organization and your jobs are defined, both combined together to your positions. So we'll just see in core HR the position hierarchy part. So all these things will be taken care. Okay, and then apart from this, we have something like in date tracking concept, which is the unique feature in Oracle HRMS, and you don't find this particular feature in any other modules. Okay, like your finance module, supply chain management, all these you will not find it. You'll find only in Oracle HRMS this date tracking, and we have different methods of date tracking. We will generally discuss when we start our classes. Okay. So these are all the things that, and then a vital setup of employee and contractor, which is nothing but a contingent worker. And then we have, anyways, we'll define this SIT, EIT is part of your key flex field and descriptive flex fields. and then employee and contingent worker terminations, reverse terminations, rehire. So in which scenarios we have to do a reverse termination and which case we need to do a rehire. So we are going to see all these things. Okay, fine. And then so any questions in core HR module? So anything you have to ask or anything? Okay, fine. Then we will go with the next module. So payroll module. So your complete employee salary management is taken care in your payroll module. Okay, so we have different scenarios to be seen here in the payroll, and payroll is considered as one of the complex module in Oracle HRMS. So we are going to see the implementation setups of payroll, introduction to payroll, explanation of payroll lifecycle. We have something like a payroll lifecycle. Okay, so whenever if you have faced any interviews, certain the interviewers will ask you, just tell me the payroll cycle. So there will be a series of programs or series of steps that you need to do in the implementation process of your payroll. So all those things will be explained here. And then what are the pre and post payroll process? That means before running the payroll, what you have to do, after running the payroll, what you have to do, pre and post payroll processes. Okay, and then we have organization payment methods. So for every organization or every company will have certain bank accounts where there will be one account for bank transfer, one account for cash management, one account for check transfers. So all these things, so that we are going to see how we can configure all those things. Okay, and then payroll definition is something like whether you want to pay employees monthly or weekly or bi-weekly. So how you exactly want to pay payrolls like salaries to employees. So what are the prerequisite definitions that anyways we are going to see. So consolidation sets, element set and assignment set, monetary units. So your money denominations. Okay, for example, if you're in India, you'll say you are going to define something like 1 rupee. What are the standard denominations defined by your government? 1 rupee, 2 rupees, 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 50 rupees, 100 rupees, 500 rupees, 1000 rupees. So these denominations you have to definitely mention. Even I think 50 pice is also existing. I think it's not completely deleted, but you have to, if there is, it is existing, you have to put down that as well. But anyways, companies will not pay you in paisa and all. Anyways, they'll round off to a particular rupees. So that is the reason, if you want, you can put it or you can ignore, but you have to mention all those denominations, the valid denominations in your country specific currencies. Okay, and then I'll tell you like what is an element. So element can be your salary component, your absence information. So basically an element is an information which can be captured. Okay, in payroll we create an element to capture your salary components. In absence management module we create elements to capture the absence information. That means how many days the employee have taken a leave. In your time and labor module, we go and create elements in order to capture the number of hours worked by an employee. So this is like, this element is something like an centralized part which is used in different modules. So we'll see how to create an element, and then we'll see what are all the fields existing in that element, what things we need to consider. So we'll see all those things. Okay, and then element links, balances suites. Balances is something like for example, if you're in India, once your company will ask you to submit your tax declarations. So once you submit that, okay, I'm going to pay like 1.5 lakh per annum, for that means 1.5 lakh I'm going to invest this year. They're going to deduct that and show you that, okay, this is your annual tax income, so this is your monthly tax income. Something like you ran payroll for 3 months or 4 months and you paid the tax. Now you want to check the balances. Okay, so the balances can be checked on monthly wise, quarterly wise, yearly wise. Okay, so anything. So how you want to check the balances, how you want to see the balances, all those things are nothing but your balances. Okay, and then we'll see the cost allocation elements, personal payment, like employee payment method. So if for every employee there will be at least one account. Okay, so that means, for example, for me, I should get salary through bank transfer. So my bank details will be recorded at one place. So maybe for ABC guy, he should get check. He don't want to get through bank transfer or through cash. So for him, again, his account details will be recorded, or his account details are also not required. Just the Oracle is going to say, okay, for this employee, check method is the valid process to pay the payment. So all those things will be captured at your personal payment method. So where we actually capture them, I'm going to explain. Okay. So GL Flex Map, so these are all part of the process. So these two are main processes. RetroPay process. RetroPay process is something like your backdated payments. Okay, something like arrears payments. Okay, if anything you need to get in maybe the past, so that amount, if the company decided to pay in this particular month because they missed it somewhere in the past, now they are going to run this RetroPay process and see that you get the payment on this month's salary. Okay. And then you have something like proration process. So proration process means your salary is suddenly increased in the mid of the month. Now how the system will calculate like whether your salary is increased mid of the month and how much needs to be paid to you. So all these things will be calculated. Again, some fast formulas will be involved in this. So that is where we do a separate setup for this proration process. Okay. And then batch element entry process. So these are all fine transfer to GL. And the other main concept in payroll is fast formulas. Okay, I think you might have heard about fast formulas. So where we will do certain calculations. So your absence management is also linked with fast formulas. Your advanced benefits like medical, dental benefits are also linked with fast formulas. Your salary computation is also linked with fast formulas. So all these will be taken care in your fast formulas. So how to initiate a fast formula, how to write a logic in it, how to return the value, how to link this particular fast formula with the element, and then once we process the payroll, how to see those results. So all these will be taken care in this particular section. And then I will also show you like how to get results from the backend through a function into your fast formula. So that will also be shown to you. Okay. So these are all the things that we are going to cover in payroll module. Okay. So any questions, anything you want to ask or anything you want to know?
Yeah, Kumar, got to know this advanced pay concept.
Advanced pay concept is generally not used in Middle East or here in Saudi, or advanced pay is not used. But if you want, I can also include that topic. That will not be an issue.
No, advanced pay concept they mostly use in here Middle East itself because when the employee is newly joined, they'll give the advance payment. It's not like India. India only by end of the month only will get their salary, but here they will give the advance payment.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that is dependent on localization to localization. So in some countries, advanced pay is not supported. In some countries, advanced pay is supported. So in that case, I will also tell you the concept, how to do that setups and all. So for that part, I can include, not an issue.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
OTL is related with this payroll also?
OTL is indirectly related. That means, for example, whatever the hours that are entered by an employee in that time card, we can pull those hours into payroll. So based on the hours that are pulled into payroll, these things can be used in your fast formula logic, and based on that also you can pay to an employee. So this is integrated with OTL as well, but we cannot say like total everything is integrated, but yes, whatever the hours that are entered by an employee can be integrated with your payroll. Yes.
Yeah, Kumar, what
Hello.
about cost?
Go ahead.
What about costing, Kumar?
Costing is included, right? So we said like cost allocation flexible at various levels. So costing will be explained.
Oh, okay, fine.
I have one question, sir.
Uh-huh.
This is a very minor costing. Suppose one employee has worked in different projects, and the costing should be different at different levels.
Okay.
So, while this is on a single task, it's costing. You got the point?
No. Come again.
Oh, suppose this is construction industry. Okay, one man. Okay, he is working on different projects. We have to calculate its salary according to different locations, projects. Okay. So suppose employee A has worked on project A. We have to dedicate this working hours and calculate the costing according to this project. And he has similarly worked on different projects.
So
Yeah, Adil, I got it. His point. What is his point is, generally I'm doing the same thing what he is asking.
mhm,
So when you are doing the costing side, so in the cost allocation field, you have that that is mapped to the GL chart of accounts. Okay,
uh-huh,
so from there you can select the project name and then give the proportion percentage. See,
right,
if the employees worked in 3 different projects, you can give first is 33.33 and the next is 33.33 and the last one is 33.37. So likewise you can give it. If it is 2 projects, 50%, 50%. If it is 4 projects, 25, 25, 25. Likewise. So you got it now? So
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
total
I
should
got
be
it.
100%.
yes. So as Kranti has said, we can do it. So for each and every assignment, that means for each and every project, we can give a percentage of account. So that is actually recorded at assignment particular level, assignment level costing. So in that assignment for an accounting code, you can give a percentage and you can say, okay, the like the billing that you're getting from this particular project is this much percentage. So based on that, you'll be paid salaries. So that you can do it at assignment level costing as well. Okay, fine. So let's go ahead with this next module. So it is something like your absence management module. Okay, guys, give me 1 minute. I'm getting in. Hello. Yeah, sorry guys. The third module is something like absence management. So absence management is something like where we will be dealing with the leave management of the employees. Okay, so that means we will be having different types of leaves to be defined, like sick leave, vacation leave, maybe privilege leave and all. So how we actually define all these leaves, like how an employee goes and applies for a leave through employee self-service, that anyways we'll discuss in the next module called SSHR. If SSHR module is not implemented, then how we need to capture those leaves for all the employees in the system, how we do that, in which particular forms we do it. So all those things will be covered in absence management. Okay, and then the other concept we have in absence management is accrual management. Accrual management is something like the employee balance leaves. Okay, so absence management is just like how an employee goes and applies for a leave and then he saves it and how he can see a report. Okay, but accrual management is related to your fast formulas again. That means suppose the company gives you 36 leaves per year. So now employee have just taken few sick leaves. Now he can just go and check the balances, like how many leaves he have been used, how many leaves are balanced, and how many unused leaves are there, and how many leaves are carried forward to the next year. So all these leave management kind of a balance checking, everything is taken care in your accrual management, and this is generally generated through your fast formulas again in accrual management. Okay, so these complete leave management of employees are taken care in absence management module. Okay, any questions, anything? Okay, so fine. So let's go back to SSHR. So SSHR is a combination of two modules, sorry, two responsibilities. One is employee self-service and one is manager self-service. Okay, so let's take a small scenario, like very simple scenario. So why I actually bought this, Oracle has bought this SSHR module is because suppose like maybe Saifullah Khan joined one particular company. Khan joined one company on 1st Jan 2015. So that company haven't implemented any SSHR module, but they are having Oracle. They have implemented core HR module, and they're trying to maintain all the employee information in core HR. Okay, so in that thing, so this person joined the company, and after 2 days he went to HR and he said that yesterday I've changed my address, so can you please update my new address in Oracle system. Okay, so now the HR will try to update the address. Now again after 5 days, the same person will go and say that CHR, I just done certification, Oracle certification yesterday, so can you please update my certification details under my record. Again she will do it. Again after 1 week he will go and say that I got married yesterday, can you please update my marital status. Okay, so in this way, if Khan updates 4 or 5 requests in a single month to his HR who is doing manually something, suppose there are 50,000 employees in the company, and if 50,000 employees are having certain changes, then how many managers should sit in that particular company? So it is huge actually. So in that case, what Oracle thought is, why don't we give certain accesses to employees? Okay, restricting accesses on salary screens or on jobs, updating jobs, positions, departments, all those things they will not get it, but they will get to access certain forms, like they can update, sorry, they can update their personal information, they can just update their they can upload their resume, so they can just involve in appraisal management processes. Okay, and then they can apply a leave, they can see their pay slips online. So all those things an employee can see himself logging in with certain credentials, and then there will be certain forms where he can see all those details. So this is like employee self-service. He will have access to certain forms. Okay, and then we have something like manager self-service. So what is manager self-service is, suppose like employee have applied for a leave. Okay, now that notification will be going to his immediate supervisor, and once the supervisor receives and he just notifies and then he approves, then only the employee should go on to and leave once he got an approval from his manager. So these things a manager will be taking care, and a manager will also have certain access to terminate his subordinates directly through manager self-service, and to hire new employees under him through manager self-service. Okay, and then he will have certain access to do on behalf certain things on behalf of an employee also. Okay, so that means he will have certain forms access, employee form access, where if employee is not feeling well, or if employee is unable to do certain things on the form, he can go to that employee record and he can do certain things. Okay, so all those things will be managed by your employee self-service. So as part of this, again, we will do certain, I will show you to do a certain OEF personalization, because we have self-service pages at SSHR level, at I-recruitment level, okay, at learning management level, at time and labor level. So all these levels we have certain OEF pages. So now if I want to hide certain fields, or I want to change the prompt of the certain fields, so any of things, then I have to do certain personalization on it. So how to do that personalization part also I can show you in this particular SSHR. And then we have something like approval process in SSHR. This process also I will show you, like how an approval can be configured. If it is like a default approval, like an employee, a supervisor will be taking care. But if employee is sending certain request and it has to be approved by maybe 3 level of approvers, then how the system will rectify or recognize these things, we have to do through approval management engine. So that I'm going to give an overview of how it can be happening. Okay, so this is your SSHR module. Okay, any questions? Okay, so
Can I ask two queries? Yeah, actually, I know a big difference between core HR and the SSHR. Whatever the employees we are creating the core HR, that will be visible. That will be visible in the SSHR. So, is there any chance of without developing of core HR model, can we go direct to the SSHR? Like only I can create job and the positions on the business group until the work structure I can create in core HR, and the rest of the parts can I do it in the SSHR?
No, actually. So once you want to see that the created employees are displayed in SSHR, that you have to just see that you have to go to core HR and create employees, and you can come here and see it. Suppose like through manager self-service, you can create employees. That means a manager can create new hires through using manager self-service. Once a manager create new hire through manager self-service, then that record will be automatically updated in your core HR. Okay, it is kind of a vice versa process.
Only the manager self-service can create the employees.
Right. But
that will be visible in the core HR, right?
Yes, right. But the main thing is, yeah, even a manager can just do a date query in this particular new hire. That means he can just change the date, and on which date he want to create an employee, he can create it on a particular date, and he can, if he submits, then employee will be automatically created through manager self-service, and the same details will be going back into your core HR module.
But the backend side is, I think, bit difference, right? In the core HR, SSHR tables are different and the core HR tables are different, right?
No, who said? Like, because once you create that in SSHR, and if it is automatically created in core HR under people form, then the same details will be under the payroll PeopleF table. Why it will go to some other tables?
Okay.
See, like always, whatever you do in the main modules, like this SSHR is not only coming from your core HR, this SSHR details are coming from your core HR, your payroll, your I-recruitment, your time and labor, your learning management, all the modules, whatever you have configured, all this will be coming and getting displayed in your SSHR. Okay, it's not related to only one module. So whatever the updates you will be doing, again, they will be going back to the same modules and updating the same tables.
Okay, fine. Thanks, Con. Thank you.
Yep. So, and let's go to the next module called I-recruitment module. So this I-recruitment module is something like a process-oriented module. Okay. So process-oriented means, for example, whenever a manager comes and then he thinks that, okay, I need a person because there's a shortage of resource in my particular team, so I need a person. So he is going to create a job description and give this job description to an HR manager. Now we can say like HR recruiter. Okay, now the recruiter will create a vacancy. So in Oracle HRMS terms, it is something like in vacancy. Okay, and then that vacancy should consist of what is the department the employee should be created, what is the job that he will be assigned, what is the position he will be assigned, what will be the average salary he should be given. So all these details should be maintained. So that is the reason even before implementing I-recruitment module, you have to implement core HR module, because from core HR module only all those things will be coming and displaying in your vacancy form. Okay, so now the recruiter will create a vacancy form. It will see that a panel is created, a team is created to take the interviews and to see that all the communications is going to that particular candidate, and they will try to create a vacancy, do certain approvals. So first they will try to submit the vacancy. Once the manager approves this vacancy, okay, once the manager thinks, okay, so these are the correct details that we want to post it, once he approves, now the recruiter is going to post that vacancy maybe in a job site or websites. Okay, so now if any person comes and sees that particular vacancy, he is a candidate. That particular person is nothing but a candidate who views the vacancy. Okay, now the candidate views the vacancy, like he registers with the company and he views the vacancy, and whenever he applies for that vacancy, he becomes an applicant. Okay, so this is the main difference, like between a candidate and an applicant, and this is a mandatory question if you put I-recruitment module in your resume. So they'll ask you what is the difference between candidate and applicant in I-recruitment module, frequent question. Okay, so this is the difference. A person who comes, registers with the company website and sees that particular job is something like an candidate. So once he sees that particular job, JD or the vacancy, and once he applies to that particular vacancy, he becomes an applicant. Okay, once he becomes an applicant, now the recruiter is going to just search for all the valid applicants, sees that, scrutinizes everything, and then sees that interviews are arranged for those valid applicants. Once the interviews are arranged and the interview process is taken care, and once everything is done, they are going to finalize the particular candidate and issue an offer letter to him. Once they issue an offer letter to him, once once the applicant accepts the offer letter, then only he can be onboarded as an employee. Suppose if the offer letter is sent to the applicant and he doesn't accept it, then there will be certain days where the offer letter will be expired. Now even after the expiration date, if the applicant tries to accept that, it will not get accepted. Again, the applicant have to request for a new offer letter once the new offer letter is issued to him, because there is every expiration date or expiration days for every offer letter. So again, again the recruiter sends the offer letter, once he accepts it, then he can be onboarded as an employee. So once he's onboarded as an employee, then normally he will be treated, he will be given all the assignments and everything as an employee. Okay, so this complete process, the hiring process, right from creating a vacancy to onboarding as an employee, will be taken and managed in your I-recruitment module. Okay, so any questions, anything you want to ask? Fine. So we'll go with our last module called Oracle Time and Labor. So in Oracle Time and Labor, we will see like how we have to create two types of occurrences. One is your regular time, where an employee applies for regular hours, and we can also create something like overtime. If an employee works for an overtime, we can also create something like overtime. So now we will define certain rules and policies, something like retrieval rules, approval styles, approval periods, where from which week the week starts, when the week ends. So all these prerequisites we need to do, and then we need to do certain rules, and then we need to create an time card. Okay, once we create a time card and you issue it to all the employees, now an employee can log in and then go to that particular time card, choose a particular criteria like regular hours, and then can parallelly give the start time and end time, and see that, like if it is mandatory 8 hours, he will be putting 8 hours. If it is half day, he will be putting 4 hours and all. So once he submits his times, then like all his time entries are done and submits, so that time card will be going to his immediate supervisor. So once the supervisor approves that particular time card, then that should be registered into the payroll. So there is the integration between your OTL to your payroll module. Now we will run certain process where all the entries from your time and labor will be coming into the payroll module, and then you can use these entries as an inputs to your fast formula and calculate, like if employee have worked for 8 hours per day complete week, then only you will pay the complete amount for that particular week if the employee is working on weekly payroll. Okay, so for week, that particular week you will pay him. For example, if employee have worked for 4.5 days instead of 5 days, then based on 4.5 days you are going to pay the thing. So all the entries will be coming back to your payroll, and you can use the way you want in your payroll module, and you can process the payroll to the employees. Okay, so this is how everything will be managed in your time and labor module. Okay, so any questions, anything you want to ask? So these are all the modules that we are covering. We are covering 6 modules in this package, and then if you want any extra modules, you can come back to us, but that will be on an extra charge. So whatever the charge that we are giving, we will drop an email to you. So you can just go through the email, like what all we will be training, the points and everything we will be telling you in that particular email. So just go through that email, and you can get back to us. Okay, but before that, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Kumar, Divakar this side.
Mm-hmm.
I have a a little issue in my organization, a little issue. Can you help me in that actually?
Which one? These two, matlab?
Yeah, I have some issues in my organization. I mean
Issues.
in my department. Yeah, issues
Okay.
in HRMS.
Mm-hmm.
That issue is, suppose I have hired employee through applicant. By mistakenly I have hired that employee on 1st of October.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to hire that employee on 20th of September.
Okay.
So how can I change that date, from 1st of 1st of November to 20th of 1st of October to 20th of September?
No, you cannot change that date. You cannot hire an employee and say that you can drag him to the past. You cannot do in that particular way. The only thing is on which date you have created that employee, you have to terminate that employee on the same day, and you have to again date query to 20th September, and you have to create a new employee on that particular date. But you cannot change the dates, or you cannot do anything like that on employees creation dates.
Okay. So I cannot, change the date. I just have to, terminate that employee on that wrong date.
Right.
And I have to hire that employee on the right date, right?
Yeah. And the other case is you cannot purge an employee on that particular day, because an employee number will always be recorded. So don't try to purge that employee, because there should always be a reference in future also. Maybe once after 2 years, people should know why you have terminated this employee on the same day you created and terminated. There has to be some reason. So that is the thing. Don't try to purge him. Just try to terminate him on that particular day, on the day you have created, and then date track to 20th or 20th September, and try to create the employee with the same information. Maybe one employee number will be missing in between, but at least you should have a valid point to say to your management that this is what happened, by mistake I've created, so this is my mistake. So but if you try to purge it, suddenly that employee number will be missing completely from the database and from the front end. Maybe after 2 or 3 years, maybe they try to do an audit on your particular company. Now there will be a lot of issues that your management should be telling to that audit guys and all. So just speak to your management, or maybe to your manager or anybody, and say that this is what happened, and now I'm terminating him on the same day, and I'm again trying to rehire a new employee on 20th September with the same details. That is how you have to manage.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Kumar. Thank you so much. Thank
Ma'am, actually, can we do one thing, right? If it is employee number is a manual, we can purge it, right?
Manually we can purge it, right? Yes, but again,
I
that
don't
should.
know where the Divakar said that employee number is a manual or automatic. What it
Yeah,
is?
employee number is a manual.
Then you can purge it. That the not issues will not come, I hope.
No, see, don't ever think anything issues and all. First, speak to your manager, because we should not, first of all, we should not assume anything as a consultant. Okay, we have to be very
Exactly.
straightforward. So don't assume anything, because in future you have to face the headache if you assume today. Speak to your manager or speak to your users, and because I have seen a case where already almost an employee have been fired from a company because of a silly issues. Okay, so my suggestion would be, don't assume anything, speak to the people and then take the decision. It's not like, even it's a manual thing, just try to terminate him. What is just nothing happens, right? So just try to terminate him on
Okay.
the same day. At least you will also not miss any. Okay, if you have missed on one employee number also, but still at least there will be a record that this person has have done certain mistake and you have rectified his mistake at least. But don't assume anything in ERP business.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Kumar. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no
Thank you.
problem.
I'll discuss with the management, then I'll do the
Sure, sure.
accordingly.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you, Kumar.
guys.
Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
no problem. So any
Thank you,
question?
Kumar. Thanks a thanks a lot for the session, and just drop me a mail, and to all of us drop a mail regarding course fee and all that.
Sure, sure. Yeah, we'll do it. No problem.
On in the payroll side, which legislation? I mean, even the
Basically,
training.
yeah, we are going to train on UK based legislation,
Okay.
because
UK based, right?
yeah, UK legislation, because the problem with US or any other is like, if we have got stuck up with any tax, because we don't know that this is a vision instance and we cannot check any patches related to the tax and all. So once we come into the middle and see that, okay, my payroll is not processing, then we have to again scrap everything and start from the scratch. So even not only me, the people who will be training on HRMS will generally train on UK localization.
Yes, 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 yes. They train
Can
on
you
UK
tell
locals, right?
India localization? Yes.
India localization, again, that's what I'm saying. Like for India, again, India, you have certain income tax patches and all those things. So we cannot take any risks and all, because we are investing so much time here and you are investing so much money here. So why to take risk and all? The process is the same, because you will see the same process and you will do the same configurations in India localization. So there will be certain things like, you have to under your BG you have to add certain registered company name. In that classification you have to add some postal address and all, so that your legal employer is legally registered and all. That is extra setups anyways, you'll get it from Metalink, but the process, overall process will be the same. So that's what. Okay. Any more questions?
Oh, okay,
Okay,
Kumar.
Conde,
Thanks a lot.
as well, along with the details, can you send content?
Can I send?
Can you send the content to the email?
Yes,
This
definitely.
content.
So all your emails are saved with us, and then we are going to send everything, like this course content and even the payment details and everything.
Fine, fine,
Yeah.
Kumar. Fine. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Okay, guys. Chalo, then we'll wrap up this demo, and chalo, then have a nice day. Sorry, it's almost night, so good night. Take care, and bye bye. See you soon.
Good night, Kumar. Good night. Thank you so much. Good
Thanks.
night.
Bye bye.